30 miles south of downtown Minneapolis, the ARCA Menards Series, Menards 250 from the Elko Speedway in Elko, New Market, Minnesota. What was once two towns, Elko and New Market, merged in 2007. The population just over 4,000. Of course, that number grows tonight with the ARCA Menards Series in town. Let's take a look at the weather conditions here at the Elko Speedway, brought to you by Lucas Oil. Absolutely picture perfect. We had a little bit of a breeze earlier today. That has completely dissipated, and we are ready for a great night of racing. Krista Kelly alongside Jim Trado upstairs, and for the third week in a row, we are racing on a Saturday night short track. Of course, very different venues, though. This one, the shortest of them all, but plenty of room to race. We started that string at Iowa Speedway, the fastest short track we run all year. Then we go to Berlin, nowhere quite like that. That was last Saturday. We have to kind of forget that, but in reality, that really helped us get ready for this one. The shortest track, two groups are racing. I love this place for the action it provides on the ARCA Menards Series schedule. This is a must-see if you can't be here in person someday. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It's be action-packed. So short but wide. We can say that kind of like a wrestler because Minnesota loves wrestling. There's actually a wrestler named Logan Storley, a four-time All-American. He now wows folks in the cage of MMA. This track has wowed all of us with fantastic finishes.
Hurts a little bit sideways. Anchors on the back bumper. Terrio tries to loosen him up. He does. He pulls back up beside him. Zane Smith spins out. Terrio wins it.
Chandler Smith now with a hat trick of wins. Wow. That was contact between Christian Eckes and I believe Michael Self battling for position. Championship implications for them. Corey Heim boots Ty Gibbs out of the lead.
Bottom groove to the third shelf thanks to the front bumper of the 20th. Corey Heim, our race leader.
Corey Heim will be a winner in the ARCA Menards Series on a short track here at Elko.
Just can't look away because anything like that or maybe something else could happen tonight.
Yeah, just the last couple of years. I mean, we've been here 7 times, but in reality, this short track can bring the action, and it can decide potentially a championship move tonight. 3 drivers that have won this race have gone on to win their championship in their given season. Lots of reasons to watch. Of course, we saw I don't know if it was a fantastic finish. It was an interesting one last week in Berlin, not for the reasons we thought. This battle between the 43 of Daniel Dye, he was fast all night. That's the 18 of Sammy Smith alongside. Yeah, Tom Hester came back to this series last race, made a great run as well, but it really came down to Daniel Dye and Sammy Smith distancing themselves in the field. And late in the going, Daniel Dye's car pulls up with 5 to go out of the lead. So Sammy Smith captures his first ARCA Menards Series national win. Of course, you said he is going to be fast with watching him tonight. Of course, there's another side to the story. How is Daniel Dye feeling? Mike Massaro caught up with him earlier.
Talk about an absolute heartbreak for Daniel Dye last week in Berlin. Led 192 laps, dominated the race, but an ignition problem forced you to finish 7th. How do you process what happened last week and put it behind you for tonight?
I mean, there's just nothing we can do about it. I think I did everything I could as far as a driver. The team did everything they could as far as the mechanics-wise and the car being able to go as fast as it can. I mean, nobody did anything wrong. It's just one of those mechanical failures you can't do anything about. So just got to put it behind us. Just nothing we can do to dwell on it. Just got to move forward, and hopefully our car here at Elko is going to do what it needs to do.
A little bit of a different challenge here at Elko, a much shorter racetrack. Do you feel like you can pick up right where you left off last week?
Man, I hope so. This is a unique place too. It's really small. I don't think I like it as much as I do Berlin, but it's cool. It brings us a challenge. And you know, I've ran on a lot of short tracks, nothing like this, but it's fun. I'm not great here. You know, we're still fighting the balance a little bit, which gives us a challenge. So we're going to be working all day. I'll be working all day, and hopefully our car with the 43 on the side of it and having Martech systems on the side of the car is going to bring us some good luck. We have had some bad luck the last couple of weeks, but hopefully them coming on board is going to be some good luck.
Sometimes at a place like this, you can make your own luck. How aggressive can you be here?
250 laps. It's a lot of time to get in trouble too. So you just got to keep your fenders clean. Just a whole lot of time to make the car better. Make the car worse. We made some adjustments last year that brought us backwards a little bit, but as long as we keep moving forward and get better all night, keep the fenders on it and be there at the end of the race. I mean, you saw Corey Heim. He was third at the end of the race and ended up winning it just because there's a late race restart. So everybody's going to have to be on their toes no matter what position you're in tonight.
Yeah, these guys definitely know anything can happen in short track racing. He rolls off 4th tonight.
Well, his time is coming. Maybe it is tonight. Of course, going to the racetrack on a Saturday evening, the best part being with friends and family. We love the crowd here. It's a summer must-do. And here at Elko, the experience includes getting up close and personal with the drivers, getting an autograph, maybe a handshake. Maybe you shook hands with tonight's winner. We're going to find out when we come back to Elko Speedway on MAV.
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards.
There is a race within the race tonight. It is the Sioux Chief Showdown. Let's show you the lowdown. As we take a look, Jim, we have had 3 rounds so far. There you see 3 different winners, but we still have a lot of racing to go in this.
This round 4 could be unpredictable. We go to great racetracks all over the upper Midwest. We end up down the season with road courses, and at Bristol, I can't wait to get there as well. That track's action-packed. That's the finale for the Menards Series East schedule as well. Lots going on here. This is a race within 10 races, Krista, on different racetracks, dirt miles included. We're talking about a lot of different tracks for drivers as young as 15 years of age to run 10 of these 20 races for up to $1 million in purse money, thanks to Sioux Chief.
Yeah, because some of our young kids, if you will, can't race for the championship because they can't race all the tracks. They can win the Sioux Chief Showdown and a whole lot of money to boot. There you see Sammy Smith currently leading the Sioux Chief Showdown standings over Nick Sanchez. Let's take a look at today's General Tire Pole Award winner. And Sammy Smith, the number 18, picking up right where he left off at Berlin. Jim, I'm not sure he ever lifted off the gas. He's just had it mashed since that win last week.
He got 2 laps in, and they counted. He was fastest in practice, backed it up. He is the fastest driver, but hey, 12 drivers within half a second of his best time to win the General Tire Pole tonight. Very tight field.
And let's hear from another driver downstairs with Mike Massaro.
Yes, Christopher, if there's one organization that is strong here at Elko, it's definitely Venturini Motorsports. A year ago, they swept the top 3 positions. And again, tonight, they're very strong. In the top 5 qualifiers, 3 of them are from the Venturini stables. Among them, the fastest, Jesse Love. Now, Jesse told me before the race today that he wants to live up to the reputation and the history of this 20 car. Remember, a year ago, this was the car that went to victory lane here at Elko with Corey Heim behind the wheel. Love would like to duplicate that feat here tonight and give Venturini their 81st ARCA win. Krista?
I think it could happen. I mean, Jesse Love, so young but so much experience, just 17 years old. Could he be the driver standing in victory lane?
And that number 20 team, Krista, just the last 3 years, not counting this year, 13 victories in the ARCA Menards Series with the Venturinis and this flagship number 20 team.
In case you were wondering, the 411 presented by Lucas Oil. Take a look at Elko Speedway. Look at that great crowd. It's just a perfect night for racing. Fans here in Minnesota love their racing. I love this mound. It's almost like a whoops, like a tabletop in Supercross down there in the infield that some fans can stand up on that mound, get a great look around this 3/8 mile track.
Well, they are dragging, burning, and blowing things up next week. The Eve of Destruction is a sellout here every year. But that big old mound, it's got some big old tire tracks on there. I think they bring some monster trucks in here on occasion, too.
Yeah, that Eve of Destruction, they have that on the marquee outside. That'll be next weekend. Yeah, the truck you're talking about, the jet truck, blows fire. They have school bus racing ready. Of course, we have ARCA Menards Series racing tonight, and we are excited about it. Sammy Smith on the pole, Jesse Love alongside. You talked about, Jim, this is one of your favorite tracks. You just love, there's so much action, so much room to race, so much real estate.
And you can make up time here. I mean, if you get caught behind traffic, this track is wide enough to run the outside or middle up, if you will, but you really have to pick your moments. This track being so small and so fast, it really comes down to getting through cleanly. No matter how good your car is, you're going to be in traffic pretty much from lap 50 through the end of this race.
See the drivers getting ready, their crew getting ready to put up the net. 250 laps. There will be 2 race breaks tonight at lap 75 and lap 175, leaving a 75-lap shootout, if you will, towards the end.
You know, I talked to Sammy Smith about that win last week at Berlin. I said, what is the word or 2 words that describe it? He said, satisfaction. I've only run 6 ARCA Menards Series races, but our team is so good, and I really want to prove that I'm as good as Ty Gibbs was in this equipment. I want to make sure that people know how much I appreciate every bit of what Mark McFawn and his team has built for him to step into this 18 car. And, man, he then smiled and said, I think I got a really good car tonight here at Elko as well.
And we're going to look at the General Tire track info as the teams get ready. We're getting ready for the command. There you see that 3/8 mile This track opened 1965. Jim, you were talking to some folks earlier today who raced, what, right around that time?
That was a dirt track for the first year, and those guys raced since 1967 through the early mid-70s. So they're here tonight. They're supporting their home track again, like a bunch of folks here tonight at Elko.
What was the word from Sammy Smith? Satisfaction?
Satisfaction.
I would think just like redemption, if you will, or relaxation, just to get that off of his shoulders. He has so many wins in the East Series to be able to win, and you have to wonder, we said, will the floodgates now open? Is Sammy Smith going to go back to back? We are getting closer to racing. We throw it downstairs for tonight's the most famous words in racing right now.
Race fans, with a couple words, we have the Executive Vice President of Menards, Charlie Menard, and then with the most famous words in motorsports, we have Charlize and Maeve.
Race fans, thank you very much for coming out to the Menards ARCA 250. Save 11% at Menards every day of the week, and here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
What a great moment for those young ladies. This is the 8th ARCA race here at Elko, also the 8th race of the 2022 season. It is Saturday night short track racing, and you will see it next.
Make sure you have
The sun starting to dip over Elko, Minnesota. What time is sunset, Jim? You looked this up.
9:03.
9:03.
Local time.
This track certainly going to change because of those conditions. Let's take a look at the General Tire starting grids for tonight. We did tell you Sammy Smith and Jesse Love on the front row, but look at all of these Venturini Motorsports cars all within those first 4 rows.
First timer Landon Pembleton becomes the 85th different driver this year to start an ARCA Menard Series race. And he's doing it the potent 15 for Kevin Reed at Venturini, and that 15 car qualified 3rd.
We have some fun stories to tell you about the Venturini drivers throughout the night. You see Nick Sanchez rounding out those first 4 rows. As we take a look further back on the starting grid, tell you a little bit about some of the drivers you'll see racing tonight. They continue to turn their pace laps.
We will see some onboards tonight. We're going to see some close racing. We're going to see a lot of young drivers trying to prove themselves. And Ron Vandermeyer Jr. Ron Vandermeyer, this is his best shot at getting a great finish. He's a short tracker from the Midwest. Looking forward to seeing how Ron does tonight. D.L. Wilson's back in the field. Amber Balkin, 5th in the points, had an issue, mechanical issue, didn't qualify. So she's really got to step it up early here in that number 30 Icon Ford.
Okay, in practice, they did say she was turning well through the corner, so we'll see if that happens in the race tonight. Taking a look at our onboards, this is the number 12, Willie Mullins, with the Reese's camera. That's going to be a sweet one.
I got it.
That was
I got
too
it.
easy,
Yeah.
too easy.
Yeah.
Sammy Smith in the 18, he will also ride along with him tonight with the General Tires camera. There you see it. He's got the best view right now, right behind that pace car.
And he wants to keep that same view, perhaps with nothing in front of him throughout 250 laps tonight. Great job on the pole.
We are also going to ride on board with Daniel Dye and that number 43, the DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors camera.
If you hear me shaking, it's because 2 stores down, 2 rooms down in the suites is Daniel's sponsor tonight. They're packed in there. They're ready to watch him race tonight.
Yeah, lots of support for Daniel tonight. And the number 55, Tom Hessert, such a great story from last week. We're riding here. He's going to have the Sioux Chief camera for us.
So Tom raced a bunch, but he really loves racing here. 3 top 5 finishes in 3 races for Tom. Welcome back to ARCA, starting inside row 3 tonight at 55.
All right, Jim, what are your keys for tonight?
This short track can be very demeaning. You got to fire off good. You can't spin those tires. You got to fire off on the restarts, fire off on the corner. And I say stay low because you really can eat time up here by staying low through the corner, picking off time. When the group moves up, that's okay, but you need to stay low to get that position, I think, throughout the race tonight, and distancing yourself. We saw too many close calls in tight quarters late in the races here. If you get a chance to get some distance, use your car a little longer, get a little distance between you and the other cars behind you, that'll be key to getting a clean and good finish here tonight at Elko Speedway.
Less than half a lap before that green flag. We have never had a repeat winner here. We are not going to again tonight. It is anyone's game at Elko, and we are racing. Sammy Smith with the launch. Jesse Love right behind as they come out of turn 3.
You see just how flat the very bottom of the racetrack. It actually gains banking as we go through the corner, but Sammy cutting it down in the low here has that early advantage. Right there is Jesse Love with him. Now the battle really for these guys is to settle in, but you can't do that when you're Daniel Dye. You're stuck on the outside here.
We saw saw his onboard camera there at the Berlin Motorsports. You see him on that outside, trying to work his way down to that bottom line.
There is room to run up there, but it doesn't matter at this point in the race. It does not seem to be the way to go around. So Dye clears the 15 of Pembleton and ducks in there in front of that Mobil 1 Toyota.
Again, Daniel Dye had such a great interview last week after that heartbreak. And then again with Mike before the race, he said really nothing we can do, just go out there and control our own destiny.
Yeah, had a 3-second lead. The ignition goes away, sputtering, finally cuts out on the car. He didn't make it the final lap, but Dye was just holding on, and Sammy Smith just gobbled him up and went on to win his first race 1 week ago on the short track in Michigan.
This is the battle for fourth, the 15 of Landon Pembleton and the 17 of Taylor Gray.
Taylor Gray looking at the inside, trying to low.
Taylor Gray goes for a spin.
Gray did not have room there. He tried to, it looked like he almost got off the gas pedal and back on the gas pedal entering turn 1. And Taylor Gray, one of the drivers we were going to expect on the short list of contenders tonight, brings out our first caution.
Let's take a look at our auto park it replay again. That is Taylor Gray in that 17. Landon Pembleton in the 15 for Venturini Motorsports.
So Pembleton kind of was the middle groove there, but going into turn 1, Gray saw his chance, cut it down, but just did not have enough and lit him up and got him around. So Gray saw the opening as Pembleton was giving him room to the inside. Just not enough grip entering the corner. You see the car was already a little bit loose going in the corner.
But when you see that line, you're so excited because you think this is my shot. Taylor Gray coming in here to Elko off a 4th place finish at Berlin last week. And he does have a win in the National Series this year. He was our winner at Phoenix. Also an E-Series win at Dover. So a lot of success already in 2022 for Taylor Gray, but a disappointing start to his night here in Elko.
And he'll be racing for the Sioux Chiefs Showdown. So he is overcoming already an 18th place finish at Iowa Speedway. He's trying to gather back in. Race points only for the Sioux Chiefs Showdown. I say Taylor's got a shot at it. I think he wanted to get in position there ahead of that first timer. That just didn't work out tonight. So again, have to scramble from the back. Taylor Gray should be fun to watch from there, but will he use up too much tire? It's a long way between now and what could be the first planned break of lap 75.
It is a long way. We are just getting started here in Elko, 250 laps, showing you how you can vote for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. This will happen starting tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on the ARCA Racing Twitter account. We're going to show you 3 Sweet Move nominees throughout the race tonight. Sammy Smith still out front, Jesse Love alongside. That is how we started this race. They have Daniel Dye in that 43 and Landon Pembleton. We're going to be talking about him a lot as we get ready for our first restart of the night. Jesse Love is trying to sneak outside of Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith sort of pushes him up the track a little bit. They are side by side on a turn 4. Sammy Smith with a little bit of advantage as they cross the start-finish line. Jesse Love has to tuck back inside, down low. Wait a minute, he's thinking about taking the inside. Sammy Smith is not going to give it to him.
Does not give it to him. What an amazing run there. Just got ahead of Jesse Love there to hold position. Again, you got to get those moments, take those moments, time them properly. Jesse had position, but just could not get inside in time before Sammy picked the lane, and it was the lane that Jesse wanted to be in.
Taking a look at that 30. Yeah, look at that wrinkled hood for Amber Balkan.
Started in the last row, did Amber Balkan, and this is not good news. She just probably got an accordion deal here. That's big damage on the front end of that Ford.
Again, we just had a restart. They were all bunched up.
She had to start in the back because the cars did not qualify, so no time for her. Started back in the last row, and this is a big issue for that first-year racer. Amber Balkan in her 7th race, 7th new track to her as well this season.
But she is racing full-time the entire series, is doing well in the point standings, but still looking for those finishes that she knows she can get. Back out front, Sammy Smith, last week's winner, also the pole sitter tonight.
Got some distance already. Here he goes. Sammy Smith cutting it down to the bottom of turn number 2, lap 15 already. He'll be in lap traffic here in a little bit. Great look here now at the battle for 3rd. Daniel Dye teaching Landon Pembleton, literally had 0 laps on this race car until today in the ARCA Menards Series at 15.
So you're not talking just 0 laps at Elko. You mean 0 laps in the ARCA Menards the entire series.
Big winner last year, the grandfather clock at Martinsville, winning the 300 lap. Martinsville late model race did Landon Pembleton, and I talked to Billy Venturini about this chance with this young driver. He said, right after Martinsville in October, man, we got that kid signed up to race with us. 3 ARCA Menards Series races this year.
These laps just turn so fast here. You look away for a second, and they are already half a lap away. So we're taking a look there at Daniel Dye in that 43, and there's Landon Pembleton just behind. This is the view outside of Daniel Dye's windshield, the DeLand Motorsports camera for us tonight.
Sun behind the trees. It was peeking at him in turn 2. That's gone. So now we're worried about track temp. You mentioned it's going to change a bit. 75-degree temperature here today. That literally is about 20 degrees cooler than it was last year when we raced here at this little short track in Minnesota. It was a hot day, turned into a hot night by just maybe a 5-degree difference. 75 when the sun was out. It's going to cool off a bit, change the track for these drivers as well.
Speaking of hot, Taylor Gray on a hot streak here, trying to get back up front. Remember, he was the one who's already spun. He is up to 8th currently on the racetrack.
Taylor Gray was injured in an off racetrack accident last spring. Spent some time recovering. This was his first race back, race 11 last year in the schedule. He remembers it was a good race, finished 5th, had a good solid run, so familiarity is paying off for him now to get back in position here.
Look at this battle between Landon Pembleton and Daniel Dye. This is the battle for 3rd.
Stay low, no way. Daniel said, I think I make the outside work, and he's doing it.
How is Landon Pembleton doing any of this? Like you said, his first time in an ARCA Menards Series car.
That is the damage that has to be addressed by Amber Balkin and Mark Rett and his crew.
As we see the crew working, let's get some more downstairs with Mike.
And as you can see, Krista, the team is over the wall, already working on the 30 car, trying to push the hood of the car back down in place. It's back up now. It hasn't conformed to the angles of the front end of the car, and they are a little bit concerned that the car is overheating as well because of the damage. They're still looking inside right now, trying to rectify that situation. So it's more than cosmetic. Obviously, mechanical damage as well to the front end of this car. You can see they're trying to pull away some of the front fascia on this car, trying to open it up so that some air gets to the radiator, but the car's running awfully hot with the damage to the front end so far.
Yeah, these are composite bodies. That whole nose piece is one section. When you push that back into what would be the air box of the radiator, that causes all sorts of airflow issues to overheat the engine. They're fixing that, trying to get the hood back to fit. Hinges are in the back, but it really has to seal off on the nose. Even on this short track, it's important to make sure she can see, and it's taped down nicely here. That's a lot of work being done in a short period of time here for the Rhett Jones Racing team.
As we continue to watch the battle for 3rd, they're going around the lapped car there. Number 7 of Colton Collins. I have to wonder for Amber Balkin. This is, I guess, a home race, if you will. She's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. We're in Minnesota. That might be the closest that we race to her. It's only 486 miles away.
And her uncle, Luke Kennedy Jr., actually raced sprint cars in the area, so she has some tie here.
It's a stretch, but I'm going to say home race, maybe,
yeah.
kind of, sort of.
It's close to South Dakota, so that's good for Bryce Hageberg. He's in the field today. So, yeah, it would be going over home races, considering the size of the North American continent.
Listen, you give us long enough, folks, we can come up with a connection to just about anything.
Yeah, they got to get that airbox figured out. They're actually trying to push down. So below the front bumper says Fusion. That whole area is an air induction into the radiator, so they got to get that airbox just right to get her back on the track, or they're going to cook that Ilmore engine.
And we have been watching Daniel Dye and Landon Pembleton basically this whole race. We're 31 laps in. They are just sort of stuck together. Daniel Dye has that 3rd position. Landon Pembleton wants it. Going after it. Landon Pembleton started 3rd. Daniel Dye took it from him. He started 4th.
I saw at one moment when Landon was beneath the 43 of Daniel Dye, he had to cock the wheel to the right. He was really fighting at the car on the very bottom. It was not good. Now he's learning following Dye's tire tracks.
Taylor Gray in the 17 going after Nick Sanchez, but we have a car spun around between 1 and 2. That's the 11 of Bryce Hageberg.
So I said Bryce's name about 30 seconds ago. Did I jinx him?
No, you did not.
Getting some laps here for Andy Hillenberg. You can see he's pinned against that Jersey barrier. He'll have to back away from that. I think he thought he could clear it as he spun sideways on the racetrack, sat there, brought the caution out, dipped down to the infield. It's dry. They had a ton of rain here, though. Just a couple days ago, we had 4.5 inches of rain here at this racetrack. We had a sprinkle overnight here as well, so it could be a little bit of, even though the grass doesn't appear to be soaked, there could be some wet ground there he's dealing with here, trying to get back on the track.
Yeah, you see there is that little, I guess, stretch of turf, a grassy patch between turns 1 and 2. That is where Bryce Hageberg is stuck right now. And let's go ahead and we're going to show it to you, a look at the Auto Park replay.
I'm with Willie Mullins here, behind his teammate for Andy Hillenberg tonight. This is down into turn number 1. This is where it all happens, and it happened between teammates. Willie thought he had inside the run, just like Taylor Gray did. He thought the inside was there. You mentioned how wide this track is. It's so inviting. but it narrowed up pretty quickly there now. 2 different occasions here tonight.
Yeah, that Reese's onboard camera of Willie Mullins really showed us there what happened as the 12 gets into the 11. The 11 continues to be stuck inside the racetrack there. So we continue to race here at Elko. Sammy Smith, your leader here on MAV TV.
For generations, Shore Lunch soup and breading mixes have been synonymous with flavor, reminding folks of the great outdoors with every bite. Shore Lunch breading mixes are the perfect complement for cod, trout, and catfish.
Under the yellow flag here at Elko, Sammy Smith at number 18 continues to lead.
That's a smirk, not a smile. I'm thinking that's the same smirk he's had since he got here. This car's been fast. That full smile will come in victory lane, but right now he is setting the pace, a blistering pace at that. To give you an idea of the speeds, Krista, and everybody watching, 14.397 seconds was his lap speed. That's averaging 93 miles an hour. We're going 100 miles an hour down these short straightaways, and then you got to turn that car, and his car has been turning really well here tonight.
And this is all happening at a 3/8 mile track, so super small, but as we said, wide, lots of real estate. This is why we're under caution. That's the number 11, Bryce Hageberg, spun by the number 12 of Willie Mullins. We're going to take another look at it as Bryce comes out of the car. His car stuck then there between 1 and 2. Here's the auto park it replay.
Battling for, I believe, 11th or 12th at the time of this incident. Willie Mullins got into the rear quarter panel. Hageberg was on the outside. Mullins tapped him. Around he went. Something broke in that car, obviously. Otherwise, Bryce would have been able to drive away. Willie Mullins out of Virginia, racing for a Minnesota-based team. His wife, Dinah's family is from here. A bunch of them, 25 of them are here tonight cheering on Willie's efforts tonight.
And Bryce Hageberg, 18 years old. You talked about him from North Dakota. There's Amber Balkin. You see the tape there on the hood of the number 30. The crew has been doing some work really for the last several laps on this car.
And we talk about those control cautions and race brakes and that kind of stuff. She can come into the pits under caution, under green, whenever, to get that car just right. We saw the left front fender might be a little bit askew. The right front looks to maybe the camber's a bit off. There's a lot of damage, not just body damage, but a lot of stuff they have to repair on that car. Again, at race brake lap 75, they can come in. Everybody can come in, not have to come in. But I think there's going to be more work to be done on Amber Balkin's car. She'll realign here 17th, but she is now unofficially 16 laps down after that repair under green because of the accordion effect early on, after that really kind of setting her back to the rear of the field after not setting a qualifying time.
We've turned 40 laps, 40 of 250, actually 41 as they cross the start-finish line here under yellow. We've had 2 cautions. Sammy Smith, though, the number 18, has led the entire race. He was the fastest. He was our General Tire pole sitter and coming in off a win last week at Berlin.
And that last year, this car belonged to Ty Gibbs. Sammy also raced with his team in the East Series, but I want to tell you what happened here at Elko last year. I remember walking up after qualifying with Mark McFarland, the crew chief today, for Sammy. 1 year ago, he was working with Ty Gibbs, and I thought to myself, wait a minute. McFarland said they did a lot of changes. Ty wasn't happy with the setup on the car. I mentioned that to Sammy Smith tonight after qualifying. He said, we did a couple of changes, went back to what we came here with. So very little change from what they learned here 1 year ago in a car that dominated, but yet finished 4th because that bump and run Corey Heim gave him at the very end cost him the victory.
And he's had a lot of laps in other series here at Elko, right? A lot of experience?
Yeah. Sammy was 10. He came here and drove a Bandolero car. He said, I came back 2 years later. I ran 8 Legends races. I won 4 of them, but I have not been back here since. So good to see him back here racing at 18 years of age, leading this field.
I would imagine at 4 months old, he was in a stroller, probably working around a racetrack somewhere as he continues to lead him out front. And we are back racing under green. Whoa, Jesse Love. He just keeps trying to peek outside on these restarts, and he makes it stick on this one.
Let her eat, Jesse Love. Great move, powering around the 18 of Smith for the lead.
And he tried that move on the last restart where he kind of just did a little peek outside. Sammy Smith didn't give it to him, but he was able to get the launch on that restart, make it stick out of turn 3, and take away all those laps led for Sammy Smith. He's not going to lead everyone tonight for Sammy, that's for sure.
Daniel Valley restarted in 3rd. Landon Pembleton saying, wait a minute, I could think the outside can work for me as well in the 15. He's got 3rd spot back. Nice run, Landon.
So great battles here. You've got the battle for 1st, the battle for 3rd. These 4 cars have been class of the field, but don't count out someone like Tom Hessert in 5th and that 55, or Nick Sanchez in the 2. They're coming too.
8th and 9th right here, racing behind our point leader, Rajah Caruth. That white number 6. 8th is Taylor Gray on the inside.
And that number 66, that's our bounty rookie spotlight, Ron Vandermeyer Jr. He will race anything. He said if it has wheels, has a motor, give it to me. I'll race it somewhere.
Great racing for him on a short track. This is right where he needs to be, making that move on a limited basis.
Same spot. That's the number 25, Tony Bredinger for Venturini Motorsports, but she spins in between 1 and 2, sort of that entrance into turn 2 here at Elko. That's sort of been the action part of the track tonight.
She was running 11th, and Tony had that Pit Viper sponsorship on her Camry back on that car. She does so much work to get sponsorship and funding and awareness for her sponsors. This is not how she wants to do it here tonight at Elko Speedway. Her first trip here in her first full-time season for Venturini Motorsports.
Coming off a 9th place finish last week at Berlin.
We are all over it tonight with our MAV TV cameras.
We also have shown you a lot of auto park it replays. Let's see another one, again from onboard Willie Mullins' machine.
So Willie looking inside of of Tony. Same deal, he got in the corner. I don't think Willie could hold it down. It was not Tony's fault. She gave him the inside line, really just washed up into her, it looked like to me, on that one glance we saw on that in-car.
So tell us what's happening again, because it's happening at the same part of the racetrack, but we've also seen it looking at the same onboard now twice from Willie Mullins.
So Willie Mullins is an SCCA racer. His only left-hand turns, his wife told me, has been in ARCA. So Dinah said, we are really here supporting our family, but Willie generally does better on big tracks, but we love racing here in our home state. Her family is from Brainerd, 2.5 hours from here. For Willie to get this together, it became really a labor of a lot of people. Andy Hillenberg has him in for the 5th time in his car. This is a car owned by Mason Diaz's father, Mike, who has got an ARCA car, but that's the team that he's working with. That's the car he's racing, so it's been that car, Willie's crew, Andy Hillenberg's efforts, getting the hauler here. There's a lot going on to keep that number 12 car ready to roll, and he is now waiting his turn to rejoin the field here on the front stretch.
Yeah, Willie Mullins in that number 12, the first car a lap down, will not get the pass because he was involved in that incident, as you see the other cars going by. Willie Mullins does have some experience this season, though. A lot of East Series runs. He was 8th at New Smyrna, 5th at Five Flags down in Pensacola.
Yeah, and it's been in this race car. So we talk about ARCA Menards Series East and West. These are the same cars, same engines. There's different ways to go about it. 3 different engines approved for this, as well as racing the established ARCA Menards Series East and West. And you can see Willie there in that number 12. Man, they do a lot of work. This is his 3rd race here in his wife's home state, home area, Elko Speedway, with the CW metals on the quarter panel. They've got 8 or 9 different metal and scrap recycling facilities here in the state.
And we know when it's a home race or in front of a hometown crowd, the pressure is on to just do everything you can. You have so much support here in the grandstands.
Yeah, Willie's got 3 8th place finishes, including here at Elko and Daytona, and a 2nd place finish back at Daytona in 2018.
So resetting what's happening here tonight, 250 laps in this race. We have turned 52 of them, so just under 200 laps to go, but they click off quick. Jim talked about they are 15-second laps, even less than that in qualifying. They are turning fast laps. Sammy Smith was out front. Jesse Love took the lead from him on that last restart. Let's see what happens here.
Love chose the outside. Can he make it work 2 restarts in a row here?
Look at Daniel Dye on the outside in that 43. You're riding on board there with Sammy Smith.
Sammy now found some grip down low here. Not letting Jesse have that line to himself. Down to the bottom goes Smith in the 18.
Now we're on board with Daniel Dye. This is the view he has as he's watching Sammy Smith in that 18 and Jesse Love in that 20 battle. He says, I want a piece of it. Mike, what do you have downstairs?
Well, an adjustment that was made inside the cockpit of the 43 car has helped Daniel Dye. At the beginning of this race, he said he was wrecking loose. Had to make 2 rounds of brake bias into the front brakes to get that car under control. It was out of control early on, but now, as you can see, seems like he's got a pretty good handle on it, Kristen.
Such a great story because Daniel Dye is just 18 years old and he's already had to deal, it seems like just this season, just since we've been on air with you for MAV TV and our handful of races, so much bad luck or so much just sort of walking out of the racetrack after a good day but doesn't have a good result.
Yeah, last race, 192 laps led of the 200. Came away with a 7th place finish. Here 1 year ago, he said, I finished 7th, but I didn't feel comfortable. I never felt comfortable on this track. So to see Daniel run this well behind this side-by-side battle for the lead, Daniel's doing a great job.
What is happening between these two? The 18 of Sammy Smith, the 20 of Jesse Love. These guys are teenagers. They are racing like veterans here at Elko.
And Love doing everything he can. Got a little bit wider that time, but there's grip now in the upper lane. Big time for Jesse to stay even here and maintain the lead here on lap 60.
Are these guys race car drivers or synchronized swimmers? They look like they are step in step with each other.
Sammy Smith got the lead that time at the line. Jesse Love got it back.
I feel like this is Reese's sweet move material, but I just don't know what you would choose because the entire sequence has been so amazing.
And you really don't know which lane is preferred right now. Sammy now with a charge to the inside. Jesse's like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. We can't race like this every lap, but what a great fun run that was. Jesse's saying, okay, you got the inside on me. I'm going to give you a look. I'm going to fill that mirror right now. Hit a tap.
Wow, how good are they? I mean, we've seen those taps, and we both held our breath because we thought, what is about to happen? But they were able to hold it.
Oh, man, Sammy is really loving this. You mentioned that momentum and how much that can carry. I think that satisfaction turned into, I can do this, and I will do this. I will get the lead when I want it in this really good race car in the ARCA Menards Series at this level.
And
after that big win last week.
Talk about the future of the ARCA Menards Series on a national level. You have the ARCA East Series champion racing the ARCA West Series champion up front, but then you have this battle for third between Daniel Dye in the 43 and Landon Pembleton in that 15.
Hamilton's got his mom, his dad, and his sister here. He also has his cousin and her husband and their son. They've gone everywhere with Landon. They are very, very much part of this program. He's been racing go-karts on through, and I talked to his cousin today in the autograph session. He said he is so good at adapting quickly. So Landon Pembleton, a big surprise to some, but not to his family that's been here every step of the way since he got in a cart at age 8.
That driver at 15 is from Amelia, Virginia. We talked earlier about that big win he had at Martinsville Speedway. He won that grandfather clock. I asked him where he keeps it. He said right in the living room where I can see it all the time. You asked him what, if it strikes on the hour?
Yeah, you can turn the alarm off eventually on that big old Martinsville clock. He said, nope, every 15 minutes it goes off.
Look at Landon stretching out the lead over Daniel Dye for that third position. We continue to look at the battle up front. Actually, not really a battle right now. Sammy Smith, he's stretched out the lead over Jesse Love, just like Landon Pembleton has stretched it out over Daniel Dye. But I don't think we've talked about the last of this.
To see this battle go on, knowing that we're going to get a race break here in a few laps, get after it. Get what you got out of the car. They need to keep the left side tires on the car. There's only 6 tires in the pits, so they're going to change 4 at some point. Likely at this race break, they'll change 2 right side tires. So give me what you got. Get those cars to roll, and you can see Jesse Love now really trying the outside line to see if something's out there on worn tires to apply for later in the race.
Let's hear more about that tire. Mike, do you have something to add?
Yeah, well, Krista, listening to Jim talking about the tires, it just reminded me that, yes, the first break is coming real soon. But keep in mind that most of these teams are just going to change 2 tires on this first break. It won't be until lap 175 that they change 4 tires, which means a lot of these guys will be running 175 laps on right side tires. So that could be a little bit difficult, could make things dicey for some of these guys. Pay attention to that as this race wears on.
It's a great point, Mike, and as the racing has been so good even early here at Elko, it was almost easy to forget we had a race break coming up, but of course we do. That's the 6 of Raja Karuth you see on your screen there in that white car with the yellow number 6. He's racing in the 8th position. That's Greg Van Alst in the 35, fighting him for it. They are fighting for this position, Jim, even though there's about to be a race break coming up.
And they don't want to be down a lap. They want to get every position because you don't lose position on race breaks. If you come to pit road, you stay in the same spot you were before you came to pit road among the cars at pit. So I'm telling you, every spot counts. It's one more spot on the restart realignment. We always restart double file in the ARCA Menards Series.
And the caution is out for our race break. Again, no debris on the racetrack. This is the race break that was scheduled. They will come into the pits to get those 2 tires. Like Mike said, they can take 4, but most of them will take 2. Sammy Smith, he was our general tire pole sitter. Jesse Love led some laps, but Sammy Smith is back out front. Last week's winner in that number 18, pretty much picking up where he left off in Berlin and bringing that speed to Elko. We'll be back here on MAV TV right after this.
Honey, look.
Under a race break at Elko Speedway, the Menards 250 in the ARCA Menards Series. Great crowd on hand. The sun's starting to set. As we take a Saturday night short track special. Work happening in the pits. Sammy Smith, your race leader. Also last week's winner.
Willie Mullins getting a chance to come to pit road. Every car came to pit road. Again, you don't have to, but they came to pit road, getting those tires, getting that fuel filled up, not at the same time. Yes, you can lift the hood. Looks like Bruce Van Al's team with Jim Long at the controls. They did a lot of changes on this car from last week to this week at Berlin. They weren't happy with the handling in that car, so more changes there on that number 35 CB Fabricating Ford for that team.
We saw Taylor Gray there in the 17. His race has already been interesting. He spun early in this race. Actually, that was our first yellow flag of the evening. He is now up to 6, so really a great rebound.
He wasn't saving anything to get to that spot. He might have used up more than he wanted to get there. We'll see how he does here in responding in this next portion.
You see work being done on Raja Karuth, the number 6. Currently running 8th, and he leads the ARCA Menards Series standings. Let's go ahead and take a look at those.
Big lead this week. Huge. Okay, 1 point.
I just looked at you because you said it, and I said, well, wait, what? Are you looking at the same thing I am?
Yeah,
1 point over his teammate, Nick Sanchez.
7 races into this, and yeah, they're running in the same 2 positions next to each other again on the racetrack. Daniel Dye with that big run last week ends up 7th. That cost him in the point standings. Those extra bonus points for winning a race, as well as leading as he did. 11 points back now. We'll see. Daniel's not happy with the race car. We talked about what Mike Massaro talked about, the brake bias change. Daniel Dye was not super duper confident with me when I talked to him before the race. Hopefully this time, this chance, this opportunity with a spotter like Joe White, with a crew chief like Chad Bryan, who spent 2 days in the shop here in Minnesota. This car came right over from Berlin to get the car dialed in at Joey Miller's shop nearby in Lakeville here. They spent a lot of time going through the car, getting their driver confident, get his mindset right. Here's a big-time opportunity for that team.
Okay, work being completed in the pits. The pits actually happen inside the racetrack. Really, they turn them into a garage area, so it's a lot of fun. One of the unique experiences here at Elko. We will bring you more of the action when we come back. Work is complete following this race break. For more on our leader, we send it downstairs to Mike Massaro.
Yeah, looking from the outside in, it certainly looks like Sammy Smith has a very strong race car, yet they made some significant changes on pit road. Mark McFarland, the crew chief, why such a big change here during this break?
This place usually frees up the longer you go, the cooler it gets, so we just wanted to try to get ahead of it. He was already a little bit tight, so we just figure we'd make a jump now, and then hopefully it's right for later.
What are you expecting on this restart?
It's pretty good. He's doing a great job. The 20 car is always tough here. They always bring a good car here, so it'll be exciting.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Just to give you a recap what happened on this stop, the 18 car made right side tire changes, air pressure. It also made a wedge and track bar adjustment as well. Big changes on the 18 car, but they're out front.
Yeah,
Picking the outside line too on this restart, Krista.
Are you surprised by that?
A little bit. I mean, he was really good firing off on the bottom, but I think he saw something Jesse Love showed him on the outside, so why not take away that preferred line on the driver you're trying to beat in turn 1?
Can't wait to see what happens here.
One car did not go on the restart. Tom Hester.
Oh.
Bottled him up behind him, and that's Bryce Hoggerman trying to bounce his way to a restart in the top gear.
As we continue to watch that, see what happens. Sammy Smith got a launch on that restart from the outside.
Everybody's square. We're continuing to run. No yellow flag. We're under green flag conditions here. And Taylor Gray charging up the inside. He's got that stay low mentality, as others think the outside line might have been where they wanted to be. Taylor Gray gets that spot, the 17 up to 5th now in the Ford Performance Ford for DGR Racing.
What a comeback, yeah. A spin early on lap 7. Now he's up to 5th. That's Raja Karuth trying to tuck in behind him. He had that tuck a little bit, and then Taylor Gray able to sort of stretch it out.
We talked about new tracks, new opportunities. Raja Karuth in that white number 6 Max Siegel Incorporated Chevrolet This is another new track for him. Yeah, he leads the points, but in reality, he's learning so much in a short period of time. Thank goodness we had a 45-minute practice session here this afternoon, but in reality, he's still learning so much on these short tracks. We know how good he is at Kansas. We know how good he is at the bigger tracks, more comfortable to him as he kind of learns all these nuances of the ARCA Menards Series after just one season in the ARCA Menards Series East last year.
And I talked to him today. He said he's looking forward to getting to some of those big tracks, those road courses. This is his teammate, Nick Sanchez, another wrinkled hood.
Damage there. Again, it's just we get underneath the car. You can tell how high up that nose went. Again, Tom Hester on the restart didn't go. I think Nick was behind him and got way deep underneath the rear of Hester's car at the outset, and that's the damage end result.
You saw it on that restart. Tom Hester is at number 55. Such a strong run. Last week in Berlin, he's back again this week. He was second at Berlin. That was his first race back in how many years?
2018, he really ran.
4 years.
He ran a few. Yeah, that's it.
Sammy Smith continues to lead out front. The 18-year-old drives that number 18 for that other number 18 in the NASCAR Cup Series, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch's first victory in the ARCA Menards Series came last Saturday night with this young driver, Sammy Smith, at the wheel at Berlin.
Amber Balkin was a driver who had some trouble early in this race. Mike, do you have more?
Yeah, she's behind the wall and out of the car right now, Krista, catching up with her. What happened?
So unfortunately, after practice, my crew found some mechanical issues, which means we didn't get to qualify. So we had to start at the back. It was tough. On the restart, they all checked up and just got into the guys, and with overheating issues. So because of overheating issues, we aren't able to continue, which sucks. My Icon Direct number 30, we were excited for today. We were excited to rebound after last week. We're happy that these short tracks are done. I'm ready to get some big tracks and go fast again.
Short track racing, guys, as you know, lots of congestion in one false move, and this is the kind of thing that happens. Obviously, Amber Balkin a little bit disappointed with the way this night's turned out.
We are watching on the track the battle for third. We have seen these two really just stuck together most of the night. If we're mentioning the 15 of Landon Pembleton, we're pretty much mentioning the 43 of Daniel Dye.
In the same frame, and they better pick what lane they want, because Taylor Gray is going to maybe choose for them here in that black 17. He's coming.
This one's going to be fun to watch.
Not giving an inch, man. Pembleton's really getting some good run off the bottom. I mentioned Kevin Reed, how good he is. That was the Jersey barrier, scraping that right side balance on the 43 there on the backstretch.
They're all just so hungry. I feel like Daniel Dye might have a passenger named Hunger alongside, riding with him after that finish last week in Berlin. Such a heartbreak, and he's just so hungry out there on the racetrack tonight.
On board with that 18-year-old, that number 43. Right behind him, the 17-year-old matching the car number, Taylor Gray. Family grew up in Artesia, New Mexico, and moved to North Carolina to go racing with him and his older brother Tanner, now full-time in the NASCAR Truck Series.
Yeah, if you're listening thinking, wait, we're saying that wrong. It's not Taylor Gray, it's Tanner. Nope, that's his brother. A family of racers.
Dad Shane and Grandpa Johnny actually bought into David Gilliland Racing to make this opportunity work. Ford Performance got attracted to the deal. Hey, they just won a big race with Todd Gilliland on the dirt last weekend at Knoxville. Lots going on with that DGR team, and opportunities for Taylor, just 17. Going more truck races, doing as many races as he can. He's also racing the ARCA Menards Series East Championship and the Sioux Chief Showdown. It's a big race for Taylor to rebound here. Top 5 run would be good to get back from that deficit he had from that parts failure in Iowa.
So he is chasing down Daniel Dye in that 43. Taylor Gray finished 4th last week in Berlin. Daniel Dye had the car to beat at Berlin as well. He was last year's winner in that race. He had to settle for a 7th place finish after a parts failure. Just a heartbreak. He really they've had such a good year, but really some bad luck this season. That's kind of been the story for that 43.
His home track, Daytona, great run there. Great run at Phoenix. Podium in both the first 2 races of the year. Thoughts were sky high about the chances. Going back to Berlin last week was a big boost for them, knowing how good he was in just his 2nd race a year prior, winning by dominating that race. That really set the tone and what they thought about what we're going to do in 2022. So he went with this team, GMS Racing, full-time this season with Chad Bryant on board with this number 43 Chevrolet.
Such a good-looking car, too. Daniel Dye, just 18 years old. So we continue to watch the 17 of Taylor Gray try to overtake him. He's just 17. So many teenagers in the ARCA Menards series. But then we have those veterans too. It's such a nice mix of newcomers and then guys like even Ron Vandermeyer, who we talked about in the Bounty Rookie Spotlight, 39 years old, but just loves to race.
Taylor Gray in his 27th ARCA Menards Series race, making the bottom work here. Cutting underneath Daniel Dye.
And this tells the story. Looking at our Sprecher Brewing ARCA Menards Series lap leader, Daniel Dye 224 laps led, but still looking for that first National Series win this year.
This is before the race today. Sammy Smith has led the majority of the 106 laps thus far. There is a point that goes to the driver who leads the most laps at the end of the race, so we'll see if that bonus will be paid out to Smith or Love or somebody else that can get charged here. 250 laps in the long races. Daniel told us before the race, I need to be ready for that last 75, the last 100 laps. That's what I'm really going to key on here when I get my chances to get 4 tires on this race car.
I just keep watching this battle. It looks like Taylor Gray is going to take him, but Daniel Dye is able to make it stick on the outside and hold that position. But wait just a second. Don't look away. Every lap, it's like that could be the lap that Taylor Gray.
Love this race, and you see the cherry red glow of the brake rotors inside the left front wheel and now right front wheel on both of these racers. Teenagers racing in the top 5 here at Elko.
This is great. They are side by side, stuck to each other like bubble gum.
Oh, and this is 15.3 second laps too, by the way. They're even on the speed chart, obviously. The leader's actually a bit slower than the pair that time around.
And we still have 140 laps to go in this race. They're racing like this is the last lap. I love it.
On board with Daniel Dye. He's that one that's pinned on the outside for the time being. The DeLand Motorsports on board. We can really kind of see what he's doing. Hey, let's give a listen. What do you say? What do you say? Listen to what Daniel Dye is doing on that gas pedal and not on the gas pedal to make this car work on the outside. Changing the tune there, a little more traditional footwork there because Taylor Gray got at the edge and now Daniel has to lay off. He can't charge the corner like he was, which might be a good thing for his tires. And maybe the crew is saying, hey dude, we know the outside works, but really we got to keep those lefts underneath this thing for a little while longer. Lost some time there to Taylor, who's really picked it up now in that black 17 that's got the spot outright in 4th.
Yeah, that's Taylor Gray in the 4th. That was the battle that takes it from Daniel Dye. But talked about managing the tires because, again, most of these teams, all the teams changed the 2 tires. So now they'll change 4 at the next race break, which will come about lap 175.
Daniel, I think, is playing with his racing line right now as he's trying to work his way through.
There's so many battles within the battles. We're showing you all these different lap leaders and points leaders. This is the ARCA Menards Series Rookie Challenge that you're seeing here. And a lot of the names that we talk about as the ones to watch in the race, like Raja Karuth and Daniel Dye, remember, they're just rookies. That's what's amazing.
They all get a big bundle of bounty towels at the end of each race if they're the race bounty rookie of the race. This is the rookie of the year standings throughout the year. The Bounty Rookie Challenge will go all through all 20 races. Raja Karuth has that slim lead on Daniel Dye. Just 12 points, 12 positions on the racetrack because it's only race points. Excuse me, the rookie points are 2 per position throughout the year, so Daniel's got a little bulge there.
This is the battle for 7th between the 35 of Greg Van Alst and the 55 of Tom Hezert. I can't hate to say this is like the old guys because they're not, but these are veterans in the series.
Van Alst has never been to Elko Speedway. Tom Hezert's been here 3 times prior. All 3 finishes in the top 5 for Hester. We talked about that, maybe a missed shift on that restart.
Yeah.
We're on board now with Tom and the Suit Chief onboard camera. That car seems to be singing just right now.
And Mike, they're not old guys because they're both younger than me, but what can you add?
I'm not going to go there, Krista. I'm not going to talk about age. I think they're younger than me, too. So, but they're really good race car drivers. We can definitely say that. You know, I spoke with Tom Hessert earlier today about last week. As you recall, he was one of the biggest stories of the race, finishing 2nd after sitting on the bench, essentially, not being even at a racetrack in 4 years. He kind of joked about it. He said, well, I took 4 years off just to prepare for that race. The truth of the matter is he just went back to work. He sells cars in North Philly, and he's a part-time race car driver. But as you can tell, he hasn't gotten rusty. He's still pretty sharp, still making it happen here tonight. His expectations a little bit higher than last week, but still not getting everything out of that race car that he wants at this point, but still a lot of racing to go.
full-time dad, and his 4 boys, all aged 6 and younger, were glued to the TV last week, and they're right in front of the front row here tonight in the living room with Mom and back home in New Jersey.
And when you talked about them last week, I talked to Tom earlier today, he said they were so excited. When every time you would say the boys, he said they would get so excited. So I hope the boys are having fun tonight, watching Dad do his thing. Back on board with Sammy Smith in that General Tire number 18, and we are halfway here at Elko.
And Sammy's going to get up on the number 55 of Tom Hessert. We looked at onboard from our race leader. Hessert's trying to stay on the lead lap here in that white number 55 and 7th. Little rear damage Hessert has from that restart incident. Really couldn't get going on that restart, and I think Nick Sanchez paid the price, but that body damage just hanging off the back, not a big deal on this short track for Hessert. The left rear quarter panel separating from that rear bumper cover a bit.
So trying not to go a lap down to the likes of Sammy Smith. Let's take a look at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Richmond Water Heaters, a great setup out on the hospitality, out on the midway today. Sammy Smith led early and led often. Taylor Gray goes for a spin.
Bryce Hagerberg went for a spin, but not on his own fruition here. Willie Mullins and the Reese's onboard gave us that look, and here's Willie again, giving us some highlight stuff. That's that's Tony Breidinger going around for the 3rd caution in the first half of this race.
And then this battle between the 18 of Sammy Smith, the 20 of Jesse Love. Jesse Love says, I like it.
Took the lead, held it. Sammy took it back. This was a battle for like 15 straight laps. It was amazing up front. Really fun to watch.
And then Sammy Smith says, nope, I won last week. I kind of liked the feeling. I'd like to do it again. Sammy Smith out front currently with 131 laps of 250 in the books.
And you saw the widest margin of the race right there in that one little piece we had in the first half of the race. Sammy Smith out to a 2-second lead now. That's a gargantuan lead from what we saw earlier in this race and we've seen here in the past races at Elko Speedway.
He has led 108 laps, and there you see his fastest lap. Look at that. You talked about those. Just over 14 seconds is what they're turning here at Elko.
They're putting fresh General tires on to qualify. He only ran 2/10 slower than that.
Wow.
Excuse me, faster than that in qualifying. So we're talking about really, really good speeds here in race conditions and race trim.
I was going to say that we had a little traffic jam right there, but they start to spread out. They're on the racetrack. That's back the battle for 9th. Nick Sanchez in the 2. Ron Vandermeyer in that 66, and that's Willie Mullins in the 12.
All racing for position. All on the lead. That Mullins got the free pass last time. So this is the race for 10th. And man, they're really getting after it here. Big time punt.
Oh, wow.
Mullins gets in the back of Nick Sanchez. Came in this race 1 point out of the lead. We saw the front damage. Now he gets help to bring out the 5th caution.
Wow, and we have seen that here in this race. I'm really glad that we have a camera, actually, an onboard camera on Willie Mullins, because we're getting some great shots, unfortunately not for the right reasons.
He is providing some excitement here tonight at Elko Speedway. Nick Sanchez trying to gather back in here again on lead lap, running 11th.
Nick Sanchez started 8th, but battling for the championship lead. Taking another look at an auto park it replay.
So Willie Mullins is then black and red, number 12 on the inside. Going in the corner, just a bit of shallower entry. Couldn't hold it down as Nick Sanchez cut across the middle of the groove. Right where he wanted to be. But Willie just could not stay underneath Sanchez long enough to both get out of the corner safely. One more time here. Look at how inside Mullins is. Sanchez is just making his corner.
And because we just saw the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap, we saw that happen again with Willie Mullins in the 11, Bryce Hagerberg, with 25, Tony Breidinger, and now with Nick Sanchez. Is this a case of the same thing happening each time?
It could be a lot of things. This time was a different approach. I think Willie's entry to the corner was just so different, and Nick was actually following the car ahead of him, racing for a position, trying to get position there, and as Sanchez kind of come across the nose, I don't think he really had Willie in his thoughts about, will Willie dive bomb me, will he get me the inside? And now we're getting word from race control that Willie Mullins will be getting sent to the tail, so he's to pit road for a quick adjustment. Or is it a stop and go? Wow, okay.
Well, we've definitely seen some action, but we also know, we talked about earlier in the race, if a window opens where you think you can make the pass or take that position, it doesn't stay open for long. And Willie Mullins is trying to take what he can, but he's just not maybe he's just maybe trying to do too much with a window that isn't open.
And those are the last 3 cars at that moment on the lead lap. So we know how good Sammy Smith has been. We know how good Daniel Dye has been. We know how good Jesse Love has been as a race leader in this race. That all mounts that pressure to perform and get that one spot. Not be the last car to see the leader in the mirrors.
So easy to go a lap down here. It's only a 3/8 mile track. They're turning just over 14 seconds a lap. The sun has set. We're racing 250 laps. We're 139 in. So the excitement, the sense of urgency is only going to ramp up as the laps wind down. Sammy Smith out front of Jesse Love. And that's the number 12 of Willie Mullins. We've talked about him a lot because we have seen him a lot. We've seen his onboard camera a lot. But again, not for the reasons that Willie Mullins wants us to talk about.
So into turn 1, he got inside of his teammate, the 11 of Hageberg. Hageberg came down right when Willie didn't want him to come down. This is Willie racing to the inside of Tony Breininger, the white number 25 ahead of him. As she turned in the corner, Willie was still there. Incident number 2 involving Willie. This third caution that Willie's been involved in has put him to the tail. Nick Sanchez ahead of him, entering the corner, settling in the middle, and Willie just got into the back end of him, sent him around here. Put Sanchez in the dirt inside turn 2.
So yeah, if you're keeping track at home, yes, all of those look a little bit similar. They are all from onboard. That number 12 has been involved in those. The number 12 is Willie Mullins, 41 years old, from Fredericksburg, Virginia. We talked about his connection to this area. His wife is from here, so we know he has a lot of support in the stands. So far, though, maybe not a lot of support from his competitors down on the racetrack.
So Colton Collins is 17 years of age in this number 7. He's run some super truck races back home in Oklahoma. Eric Caudell's from Oklahoma as well, and said, I want to give this kid a shot. Well, what it came at as a price, because Jeremy Petty, the team's full-time crew chief, is in the hospital right now watching this, trying to text with his team, because he said, you know what, guys, my wife's giving birth on Friday to baby 3. She's happy, she's healthy, but he's home with her, and they're trying to do as much as they can setting up here with Colton Collins. And Kyle Topman, the crew chief, newly graduated from UNOH, is on the box for this team as the crew chief tonight in Jeremy's place, running 13th right now.
Well, congratulations, Jeremy and family, on the birth of the baby. We are back racing in Elko. Sammy Smith continues to lead. That's Jesse Love right behind, but watch out for Taylor Gray. He's trying to tuck inside of that 15 of Landon Templeton and go after Jesse Love, who goes a little bit high and wide on that turn.
Taylor Gray, keep it low here. Landon Pemberton is learning very quickly where he wants to put that number 15, and right there, Taylor Gray, if he didn't stay inside, gave him that 1 foot, 1.5 feet off the bottom of that grass strip, I think Pemberton will give him a run here. Taylor's really got to watch it now, stay low, entering and exiting these corners to stay third.
So we know there's a battle out front between the 18 and the 20. We're not going to abandon that, but we are really watching that 17 and 15. Jim feels like that 15 is coming.
Landon's done a lot of short track racing, late model stock racing in his home Commonwealth of Virginia. Ton of laps last year, 30 races. This year he's been racing a lot of late models. He said, I've done sim work, I've been at Venturini shop a few times, but this is my big time chance. I really need to make this work. I've got a couple more races with them already lined up, but I really want to prove myself that I need to get time here and to have a great race and get a great finish. And man, that kid's been in top 5 all night long in the 15.
Hey, Mike, what's happening down at your view?
The Venturini crowd can echo all of Jim's sentiments right now, because I had a conversation with Billy Venturini right before the race about Landon, and he said, look, this kid has impressed us from the get-go. Of course, he got on their radar because of what he did in Martinsville, winning the 300 there and taking home that big old grandfather clock, but he impressed them even more at a motor mile test not too long after that, just consistently turning fast laps. So I asked Billy what he expects tonight, and he said, I wouldn't expect him to finish anything outside the top 5. That's what he's doing right now. He could be even better than that with what we've seen so far. But Billy said he wouldn't be surprised if he actually does go to victory lane. We'll see what happens. He did it in Martinsville. He could do it here again tonight. Got a lot of work to do, though.
And we're talking about the tire wear and that kind of thing. Late model stock races are 150, 125 laps, 175 laps sometimes, and they don't change tires. So that whole used tires, run what you got strategy, all these are General Tire Goodyear, General Tire radials, excuse me. This kid is making it work on older tires because he's so trained and so adept at racing on tires for an entire distance in a late model stock race.
And he did it. He did exactly what you said he would, Jim. He's able to take that position from Taylor Gray. Landon Pembleton currently running third where he started this race. Wow, what a night for the young man out of Amelia, Virginia.
He said, what's about 20 minutes out of Richmond? Man, would that be a big deal to race here in the ARCA Menards Series? We know that every driver in this field wants to race in a NASCAR National Series. Denny Hamlin comes to mind, about a short track kid that grew up near Richmond and sat in the stands dreaming of it. This is the next step for this young driver. Landon Pembleton in that 15 car comes in here just 17 years of age with this big chance on a national stage for the first time.
Now he has to go after his teammate, number 20, Jesse Love. Cool story about Venturini Motorsports. I was down in the garage. I found out that did you hear about the Father's Day gift that Billy was able to give Bill?
Yes.
They found an original handwritten scorecard from the very first Venturini Motorsport win at Flat Rock Speedway. What was that, 1983?
Something, 83. Yeah, way back when.
They were able to find that. Billy framed it, gave it to Bill. Really neat. Such a cool piece of history.
Yeah, Wendy took a lot of pictures too. Wendy Venturini, a great friend of ours, and she found it. They found it together, and they gave it to Big Bill for
awesome.
Father's Day. It was a special moment for that family. So many memories here in ARCA, but it came for that first race win. They are now fielding 4 teams in the ARCA Menards Series. They've got a lot of support from Toyota, a lot of great folks working with them as well. And they're trying to back up that 1, 2, 3 finish here at Elko Speedway from 1 year ago.
Such a great family. They know racing. They live racing. We talk about this all the time. Bill, Kathy, still out here all the time, every week. We continue to watch this battle for 5th now. Tom Hessert in the 55, another Venturini Motorsport car, and the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Yeah, Dave Liner is the crew chief on this car. He's full-time in the shop. When they bring a 4th car out, Dave's right there with whoever drives it. Great effort, great teamwork. It's all set up on the same surface plate. The same guys do the setups. It's Billy conversing with Kevin Reed, Shannon Rush, and their engineer, Menards. And they do a lot of work on the computer before the cars hit the racetrack and after. Hessert has the same equipment that Jesse Love has here. That Landon Pembleton's racing. He's making the most of it here. A bit of a scrape there. Bottoming out a bit maybe for Hessert. Don't know if that's damage from when he got that restart, kind of went awry. Now we see the left front now is smoking big time on the 55 of Tom Hessert's car. The left front appears to be a big issue.
There's damage on the left rear. We're going to continue. Look at it glowing underneath there, that 55.
Could that be tire buildup on the header? We don't know, but it's certainly ever present all the way around this racetrack.
Yeah, our next race break is 175, so we know that's only about 12 laps away. Can he hang on until then?
Boy, Chase Purdy had a dominant car here a few years ago, and he had a rear end that actually illuminated the car and started on fire here at Elko Speedway. That comes back to a flashback like it was yesterday. Chase looked like he was on his way to his first win. Tom Hessert has a really good car. The fire is now out on the 55.
See the damage there, that sheet metal flapping on the left rear. The 55 of Tom Hessert as he lets thought Daniel Dye was going to take that spot from him on the inside. Tom Hessert fighting him off, but Tom Hessert is also trying to hold on until the next race break, which is now less than 10 laps away.
That left front got a lot warmer in those last laps with the fire going on, heating up that tread like a s'mores. And I'm telling you, lap 166, that's how many laps he's had on those left side tires. Great job hanging on by the veteran.
And that is what we're missing here tonight. The only thing we're missing.
We are. Perfect night for camping.
S'mores.
Yeah, that marshmallow got a little too warm, though. I'm really happy to see that it's hanging on. Because any kind of heat like that could really cause the tire temperature to go way up and pop just based upon that heat. So Hessert and that team, no doubt, will be happy to see the race break and get 4 fresh General tires.
Hey, Mike, I hate to do it, but do you have s'mores update for us?
You did it.
I did.
Yeah, I have some more on the 43. As we mentioned earlier tonight, he started off the race wrecking loose. They made a little bit of an adjustment from inside the cockpit to try to rectify that. They also made a track bar adjustment during the first break, but unfortunately, they felt like they went in the wrong direction. Expect wholesale changes on the 43 during the break at lap 175 to try to bring that car a little bit more back to the way Daniel Dye likes to drive it. Right now, he's not all that comfortable.
So that's something we'll look for sure. Again, that race break is coming up in less than 5 laps, scheduled to be around lap 175. And then it'll be a shootout.
Yeah, Daniel's just really hanging on. You can tell how, you can just see how long he waits to get on the gas pedal, making that corner work. In conference right now with Chad Bryant, here's what I want on the car, here's what I'm thinking. Spotter Joe White chiming in here, no doubt, saying, hey, this is where those other cars are running right now on the track. If you're going to make an adjustment, you might want to make it for this part of the track, outer groove, inner groove. And with this much traffic, it's hard to read where the faster cars up front are running. They're having to knife their way through this field. With Sammy Smith continue to lead now by 2 seconds.
Daniel Dye is the last car on the lead lap as we jump back up front with Sammy Smith in that 18.
Notice how he entered turn 1, Krista. He was a bit high and came across the inside of the corner. I think that really has been fooling Willie Mullins a little bit. Just because the racing line that Sammy Smith has figured out is you have a wider entry into turn 1. Sammy cut right to the bottom of turn 2.
And the caution is out. Again, this is for the race break, the scheduled race break, the second of 2 that we will see here at Elko.
Boy, that Allstate Peterbilt Toyota has been so strong tonight. Jesse Love's been there to contend, but not at this point in the race. At a 2-second margin here heading into this break.
They are the 2 front runners. They have been the 2 we've been talking about all night. The number 18 of Sammy Smith, just 18 years old, and the number 20 of Jesse Love. Jesse Love, just 17, 2 teenagers going for the win at Elko. We'll come back with a race break update right after this.
This is Reese's University, an institution where your future starts to take shape. Chocolate, peanut butter, success. Apply now.
Is brought to you by Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. Purrs, forever good. Sprecher Brewing Company, Milwaukee's original craft brewery. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry.
Welcome back to Elko Speedway in Elko, New Market, Minnesota. We are under a race break. You're watching work being done on the number 18 of Sammy Smith. He is our race leader here in the ARCA Menards series, the ARCA Menards 250 at Elko.
And Sammy turned 18 earlier this month.
Yes.
Guess what he gets to do?
He gets to go Xfinity Series racing.
He gets to go NASCAR big track racing as well. ARCA Menards series is headed to Michigan International Speedway. And Sammy, if you love what you see on the short tracks, Sammy's going to race with this team. He's 18 years old. He can now race at Michigan.
So we're going to go from the little 3/8 mile of Elko Speedway to the big old Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. That will be our next race here on MAV TV, June 11th, for the ARCA Menards Series Henry Ford Health 200. There you see it. We can't wait to bring that one to you, too.
Saturday, August 6th. We'll be there. MAV TV bringing it to you live, the Henry Ford Health 200. I can't wait. I'm telling you, that track is big and beautiful, and Sammy Smith's got a really good car with Mark McFarland on this team. That'll be his big track debut here on MAV.
But we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves because we still have a lot of racing here at Elko to go. When they complete their work in the pits, they will go back to racing, and it will be a shootout at Elko, and you will see it right here on MAV TV. We'll come back to see what these teams are doing for this final stop, this final race break here at Elko.
Suchi. PowerPack's tube and fittings are perfect for a variety of do-it-yourself projects. With PowerPack's tube and fittings, you can connect to any plumbing system. Whether you're replacing a water heater, adding a utility sink, or tackling bigger jobs, you can rely on PowerPack's tube and fittings. PowerPack's tube is made in America and available in a variety of sizes. Visit Menards or Menards.com to find a full line of Suchi products for your next plumbing project.
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, honey, look. Sprecher Craft Soda.
Oh boy, can we?
The ARCA Menards Series racing at Elko and the Menards 250. Teams just completing work on this second race break. So how are teams going to go after Sammy Smith, our race leader? Let's find out what's happening with that 20 team, Mike.
That's the car that's closest to the 18 right now. Crew Chief Shannon Rouge, you just made some changes. This is your final opportunity to tune on that car. How do you feel like you're set up for this final run?
Well, hopefully I made the right changes, so 175 laps on left side tires there. It's a long ways, so you can't base a whole lot off of your handling there. So we had to free it up just a little bit, but I feel good.
Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
As you heard him say, had to free it up just a little bit, made a track bar adjustment, and that needed 4-tire change on the 20.
I've been in that pit box watching Shannon Rush do his thing. He didn't tell us everything he did on that race car, but he is so good at what he does. He's won on every level of NASCAR's National Series as a crew chief, and tonight he wants to bag the big victory with Jesse Love, was looking for just his second series victory here in that 20 car.
Shannon Rush from Iowa, a smart man when it comes to racing. What are we going to see as the green flag is back in the air?
Sammy got the choice. Sammy gets the jump on the outside of the 18.
These laps are just so fast. They're already back to the start-finish line as they duck down to the inside there. Look at Daniel Dye on the outside trying to get around Taylor Gray.
You can see the intervals on our screen, but I'm watching the stopwatch on another screen. Yep, we're under 15 seconds a lap here. These fresh General tires, they're really getting after it here, Krista.
This is going to be a shootout because these laps are just going to click away. There is a sense of urgency already.
Daniel Dye got that chassis change he was asking for. Mike Massaro documented before that race break. He's in that number 43. He's got third away from Taylor Gray.
Look at the 15, Landon Pembleton, getting so close to Taylor Gray.
And for Pembleton, he's really relying upon Kevin Reed, who's done so many good things here in this series, winning championships, setting up race cars, but that 15 driver not really knowing exactly how these tires wear, relying upon that team, their response. We've got you covered. We got a good setup for you. Get after it. He's way on the bottom now, running really strong times in that 15. And right behind him, that 55 of Tom Hester. We talked about that fire in the fender well. We talked about the rear body damage. That's all fixed. Hester back after a 4th top 5 in 4 races here at Elko.
I feel like there's almost this race within a race. We talked about like the Sioux Chief Showdown and the different things that are races within the race. But now that they have fresh tires, they have 4 fresh tires, this feels like a new race, like the slate has been wiped clean.
Tap there. Hamilton gets in the back of Taylor Gray. Fighting for real estate off the backstretch here. Hamilton loosened up a little bit.
Is that enough for him to take that position?
Short track bump and run for Hamilton to the inside of Gray.
He's trying to take over. And he does. Landon Pembleton is now running 4th here at Elko.
So as good as Taylor Gray's car is, as good as his tires are, his experience, we mentioned 25, 26 races now in the ARCA Menards series. This short track can be punishing. If Pembleton wants to go out and set those fast laps and say, man, I had a great car 10 laps into this run with the General tires, wait till 10 to go. I think Taylor Gray is looking at a longer run, a longer picture, just based upon sheer experience here is my speculation on Taylor Gray's approach here. Hey, you got a faster 15, go for it. My number 17 Ford Performance Fusion will be right there where I need it. I'm saving my tires right now, young man.
And we have 60 laps to go, 6-0. Sounds like a lot, but they go so fast here at Elko. We've seen action all around this track. Again, you look away for just a second and something is happening.
We're under 4 laps a minute here. We're actually approaching 5 laps a minute the way we're cooking here. 15.6 that lap speed that time by Sammy Smith. Well, a couple of cars go wide behind Sammy. Oh, man. Jesse Love was sent in the weeds by a lap car on the bottom. Still hangs on a second
He
here.
is. I was going to say, he's hanging on. He's still in second. He's trying to chase down Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith is out to a second lead, though, over Jesse Love. And Jesse Love has Daniel Dye and Landon Pembleton right behind. All right, we documented the changes they made on that 20. Mike, what are they saying now?
And just before that moment, if you will, Jesse Love's spotter was telling him, just pumping him up, saying, hey, man, hammer time, hammer time. Within 50 laps, we're going to cut you loose, ready to go. But then there was that incident where he almost got pinched up into the wall, and then the spotter had to change his message. The message was now, regain your rhythm. Kind of got out of sync there after that.
That's Lloyd Garner, and Jesse called him out earlier today. To me, he said, I like how Lloyd gets me pumped up and ready for these races. He also, Lloyd Garner was on the box when Corey Heim won this race a year ago at Elko Speedway.
in a fantastic finish, if you remember. If you joined us at the top of the hour, we documented how this racetrack has produced some fantastic finishes. Don't be surprised if you see another in just about 53 laps as we are tracking this battle for third between Daniel Dye in that 43 and Landon Pembleton in the 15.
And they're working through some traffic here. That's Tony Breidinger off the pace just by a little bit. Doesn't take much to get a little bit off here at Elko Speedway. She pulls to the inside here, watching this battle for second and third, fourth go by on the outside.
It's a great crowd on hand tonight, too. I know they all just took their final restroom break. They loaded up on concessions, got back to their seat before this restart.
They have cheese curds here. I didn't try them. They do have cheese curds. They look pretty good.
Can't beat cheese curds at a racetrack.
Oh, Daniel Dye's exit off for turn number 2. What a great look that was. Pembleton said, man, you left me a whole lane. I'm going after it. Daniel Dye continues that outside line. This is, again, third and fourth. We can talk about this all night long because they've been literally lockstep with each other for the entire race. Pembleton now, again, if he takes a look inside here, nope, Daniel Dye won't let him this time.
Yeah, I know you're watching that scoring monitor. I'm trying to look out the window and see the race cars. It definitely looks like the closest battle on the track. But again, they're just turning laps so quickly, lap traffic getting involved. But yeah, Landon Pembleton is trying to scoot right up on the back bumper of the 43 of Daniel Dye.
So Dye now, I think, backed his corner up a little bit to get low in the corner, which means he's slower on corner entry. That helps the car stay in position. He didn't fly in there on the outside and cut across the corner like he'd like to because Pembleton's been so tenacious with that inside look.
He is. He just keeps trying to sneak that look, and we've seen where if the window opens, you don't get much of a chance, so you have to strike when the iron's hot. He's certainly striking. He's just not able to make it stick, but it looks like he can do it coming off the corner. He really has such great exit off the corner.
And give credit to Daniel Dye here. Pembleton's giving him everything he can. Dye is saying, I need to run my line. If I'm running a little bit on the outside of that driver, I know where I can find that grip. So good job at adjustment here by the 18-year-old Daniel Dye in his first full season in the ARCA Menards Series.
You can't look away from this battle. It is fantastic between the 15 of Landon Pembleton, the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Sammy Smith at 1.8 second lead. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, that's the interval from the leader on back. But this is a great tussle into turn 3. Oh, and by the way, Krista, we're under 50 laps to go already.
And lap traffic is getting involved. So, again, you have to keep looking at timing and scoring for me because I can't take my eyes off the racetrack.
40 to go pretty soon here. Take a couple of blinks, and it's going to be 40 laps to go. Still clicking at 15.346 second laps for the leader, Sammy Smith. This pair, albeit side by side, 15.411 laps.
The 03 of Alex Clubb, a lapped car, looked like it slowed up Landon Pembleton just a bit. I don't know if that's a nominee for the Reese's Sweet Move.
You could barely put a box of Reese's Pieces between the 43 of Daniel Dye and that back of that lap car, but that was just all he needed for that sweet move to get that spot out right as Pembleton had to settle in behind with the pick.
Up until that point, they were like Justin Timberlake. You know why? Because they were in sync.
Oh, man.
That's bad.
Chris DeVoto bringing it on a Saturday.
Oh, that's bad. But they were just, they were side by side, and just that lap car, like you said, just that moment of Alex Clubb in that 03. And by the way, kudos to Alex Clubb. He is still out there racing. They did not have, but the only tires they brought here with were the used tires from Rita Thomason from last week. That was what Alex Clubb had to put on his car tonight in the 03.
Yeah, great job by Alex, doing everything he possibly can. Landscaper, lawn care by trade in Northern Illinois, short track racer at heart. His dad, Brian, does everything possible with his son to go racing here in the ARCA Menards Series. Great to see him back out here once again. That paint scheme that his dad, Brian, drove for many races and many years on the circle tracks of Northern Illinois in the Chicagoland area.
See, I told you, look at Justin Timberlake.
Do you think these guys know that song?
They're young, they might. No, they won't. They're too young. Too young.
They might call that an oldie.
Oh, gosh, we are old. But we are seeing some great racing. Thanks for watching and joining us here on MAV TV. We are in the closing laps at At Elko Speedway, it's been a great night. Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, they've been the 2 cars out front, but we cannot look away from this battle for third between Daniel Dye in that 43, Landon Pembleton in the 15. They are giving the fans here at Elko a show tonight.
And this time the outside line is what's working for Daniel Dye and keeping Pembleton at bay. So right now Dye is running the line I think he's most comfortable with. Pembleton, do what you want. I think the outside's cooking for the 43 right now.
Back on board with Sammy Smith, your leader.
He is chasing down the tail of the number 35 Ford of Greg Van Alst. Van Alst currently running 8th. Oh, Pembleton got a little high off of that corner. Off of turn 4. Great look here. Gets the spot, but now the crossover by Daniel Dye. Dye with a bumper.
Oh!
Didn't like how
Makes
Pembleton.
contact.
Yeah, did not like Pembleton's move. Payback a lap later in turn 4.
And they are side by side as they enter turn 2. It looks like Landon Pembleton is able to get just a bit of an advantage on the outside, but Daniel Dye is right there as they cross the start-finish line. He has to tuck in behind that 15.
I love it. Under 30 laps to go now. That's probably what the spotter said. Boys, 30 to go. Figure it out.
This lap traffic is going to come into play.
And Taylor Gray has caught him in the black number 17. As much as that side-by-side run was going, Gray's got a longer run car. We talked about how he gave up 4th kind of easily in this early in the run. Now he's charging back. That number 17 Ford back in frame here in 5th.
We're still trying to find our Reese's Sweet Move nominees. This is an Auto Park It replay. We're showing you what Sammy Smith did in lap traffic earlier in the race.
And that was Collins, the first timer going outside. That's where Jesse Love got up in the weeds. That was a sweet move by Sammy Smith to pick the bottom and gas it. Nice job, Sammy.
Back with the battle on the 43 of Daniel Dye, the 17 of Taylor Gray. Gray trying to take the 4th position away from Daniel Dye. Landon Pembleton has the 3rd position out on the racetrack right now.
Pembleton's got a couple lap cars now between Daniel Dye and this battle with Taylor Gray now shaping up. Vandermeer going a lap down on the 66. He's back in 9th. Just a punishing pace here. To the inside is Club. 3 wide momentarily. Oh boy.
I don't know why I think like bending down and shrugging my shoulders is somehow going to help these guys, but the stance I'm in right now as I watch is just as tense as I feel like they are behind the wheel.
Vandermeer on the outside kind of got stuck out there. It was a 3 wide run by Daniel Dye, made it work. Lead lap car of Dye getting through first with Taylor Gray in hot pursuit. Willie Mullins in that race as well, back there in 10th. Be Willie's second top 10 finish if he hangs on and finishes this one strong in the number 12.
Daniel Dye does like that line, the line he's been using all night. But you see Taylor Gray just on the inside trying to take that away, that position away. We're talking about the 4th position on the racetrack.
And as Daniel Dye worked that outer groove, it was with the 15 of Pembleton. So
yep.
Taylor Gray right now is going to have to figure out, is that inside line the one I want to run? Because that's what Dye's giving him. He's not going to give him the outside. Taylor's now learning that, and that coming to the rear bumper here with 20 to go at Elko Speedway.
And these are teenagers. The number 17 of Taylor Gray is 17. Daniel Dye in that 43, 18 years old. Daniel Dye from Florida, Taylor Gray from North Carolina.
Taylor's got Chad Johnson as his crew chief, and I asked Chad before, I said, how long have you worked with him? He said, beginning of last year. They work well together. Chad's a guy, again, we talk about Midwestern roots and how that plays here. Chad's a guy out of Indiana that went to school for engineering and then moved to Charlotte and became a team engineer for Casey Kane in the Cup Series right out of college. That experience is helping out huge. Anywhere Taylor goes, Chad goes with him, as he was a winning crew chief in the Cup Series for Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, and others.
And Chad has a couple of boys at home watching as well, Grayson and Chase is a racer.
Love their dirt racing. The 43 of Daniel Dye. You can see what he's done there. He's had the outside line, but just doesn't have the drive off. I think all those laps on the outside are finally taking its toll on Dye's Chevrolet.
Riding on board with our leader, Sammy Smith. He drives for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch Motorsports, new as an owner to the ARCA Series. Sammy Smith, a lot of wins in the East Series, picked up his first National Series win last week.
And next weekend, Road America, the Henry 180, Sammy Smith will make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut for Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 18 Xfinity car.
Wow, you're looking at the gap from Sammy Smith back to second is that white car, that number 20 of Jesse Love, currently running in second. So as Sammy Smith continues to stretch things out, Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you, you heard the Victory Lane interview last week with Sammy Smith. He said he wasn't necessarily going to celebrate. I kind of followed up on that this week and said, well, come on, you had to celebrate that win, didn't you? He said, not really. I just went straight to work. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, I went to work out, I studied tape, I got ready for this race. He is quite committed to not only winning one race, but winning bunches of them, and he could be on a streak after tonight.
We wondered if the floodgates would open. You know, maybe not the pressure off, because I don't think he really necessarily felt the pressure, but once you get that one win, it does sort of, we sort of see that they would stack up, if you will.
10 to go, and Tom Hessert's got company for 6th. That's point leader Rajat Karuth coming back to life. Raja got the free pass early on, now making it work in that number 6 Chevrolet for Rev Racing.
This is what you stay up for, folks. 10 laps to go here at Elko. We've had such a great night watching Sammy Smith and Jesse Love battle out front. We saw last week anything can happen. Daniel Dye leading this race. So we're not giving it to Sammy Smith yet. With 10 to go, he has been out front as he is dealing with lap trap. About to put Raja Karuth a lap down as well. But Jesse Love still coming with 9 to go. Every position matters on this racetrack.
Sammy's been so smooth tonight. We talked about him leading early on. Jesse Smith got the better of him for about 20-25 laps before we reached the halfway point. But it's been Sammy controlling restarts. I asked him before the race, I said, judge yourself on your restarts, Sammy. He said, since Pensacola, I've been really good. And he looked over at his teammate, a team member with him, and he said, you know what? That lives with me. I have to do better on restarts. I've gotten better. And he knew right at the moment he did not have the best restart and spun his tires. That was 15 races ago. He's on 20 races already this year. Sammy Smith is in all forms of racing with Donnie Wilson and this ARCA Menards Series team.
It has been Sammy time tonight here at Elko. He won last week in Berlin. Jesse Love making things interesting early, battling that 18. We have continued to watch battles further back. Some great battles here at Elko.
5 to go. Sammy's got a nice lead, but guess what? Last week we thought that was the same case for Daniel Dye, and his ignition started popping out, popping and disconnecting and all sorts of things. So Sammy really wants to push this forward. No relaxation for our leader here.
He has a 3+ second lead over Jesse Love in second. It's Landon Pembleton in third with 3 laps to go here at Elko in the ARCA Menards 250.
Sammy Smith last week was handed the win, got the lead with 5 to go because the leader faltered. Today, Sammy Smith proving the point, leading the most laps here at Elko Speedway in a statement race for this young driver.
And big things are about to happen for him. Once he turned 18, so many things opened up. Will Victory Lane open up for him tonight? 1 lap to go.
Smooth through turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Up the backstretch, Tom Hester will be the car he won't pass because Sammy knows it's in hand.
In the shadow of the Twin Cities, Sammy Smith goes back to back. He is now a 2-time winner in the ARCA Menards Series. He gets the win at Elko. Great battles throughout the night further back. Jesse Love is second, Landon Pembleton third, but Sammy Smith does it again.
A little brake bias turn there. I think he might do something for the fans here at Elko Speedway this Saturday night. See if he locks up those fronts here. Here we go. Nose it up there. Why not? Nope. Oh, man. Sammy wants the flag. What a great win for Sammy Smith for Cobblish Motorsports.
Plenty of fans heading down to the fence to see what this 18 does for them.
Driver's side first to the fan side.
There's some fans hanging out in bleachers over there in turns 3 and 4. Sammy Smith heads down to tell them hello as well. Here are your ARCA Menards results from the Menards 250. We said Jesse Love, Landon Pembleton. It was Taylor Gray able to hold on to the 4th position. Daniel Dye comes home with a 5th place finish.
Great debut by Pembleton. That's a great start for him. There's 2 more chances here in this series. He'll finish up the ARCA West Series with the Venturini Motorsports Camp. Daniel Dye, great job by running 5th. Really had his hands full there late in the going.
And a great night for Venturini Motorsports. They put 3 cars in the top 10, but the night belonged to Sammy Smith. So cool, so calm, so collected after that win in Berlin. Mike told the story how he didn't really celebrate. He just went back to work. That work meant getting ready for Elko. You see Mike Massaro standing by, ready to talk to him. Sammy Smith gets congratulated.
General Tire neckband and the hat. They get money by wearing that in Victory Lane. Just saying, it's worth it because everything counts. Every moment counts for Sammy. Every savoring moment counts.
Well, he had
the drivers going back to back.
General Tire onboard camera for us. He was the General Tire pole sitter with the fast lap in qualifying. He didn't lead every lap, but he led a whole lot of them here at this short track. This 3/8 mile short track belonged to the 18-year-old tonight. Jesse Love gave him a run for his money early. We thought it was going to come down to those 2, but after that last restart, Sammy Smith was able to launch, and Mike Massaro is there with our race winner.
And he's still unbuckling. This one's a little bit different than last week. You were out front the entire day. How would you compare this to your first win a week ago?
Yeah, this one feels way better to win it like this. We kicked their butts today, and just thanks to all the whole team, All-State Peterbilt Group, Pilot Flying J, TMC, Toyota, all these guys on the KBM team brought me a good car, and here we are.
There was a moment there where you had to thread the needle going through some lap traffic late in the race. What was that like?
Yeah, there was a lot of junk in the way all night, but you know, we did a good job as part of it and got around them, so we'll keep digging.
Sammy Smith, the victor tonight, dominating here at Elko Speedway, picking up his 2nd career ARCA Menards Series win, back-to-back, and he's celebrating now amongst the fans here at Elko Speedway.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of a celebration because he felt like he maybe lucked into the win last week at Berlin, so there was kind of that feeling of, okay, I didn't dominate. Tonight, he certainly did.
Dad got in the shot as well. So much he's done with his son to get to this point. Great to see them celebrate together.
Sammy Smith, your winner in Elko. We'll hear from some more of tonight's competitors right after this here on MAV TV.
You can't. The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts.
Auto Park It. The future of parking is here. See it at autoparkit.com.
And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
Welcome back to Elko. Sammy Smith, your winner. We got to show you the nominees for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race, and they definitely had a Sammy Smith theme to them. But let's start with Jesse Love, the 20. He overtakes the 18 of Sammy Smith for the lead. That's going to be a nominee for the Reese's Sweet Move.
They swapped the lead 3 or 4 times. The 3rd time they did it is our 2nd nomination. This is how Sammy Smith got the lead back from Jesse Love. He went on the inside and took the lead here on lap 60.
And then Sammy Smith again working his way through traffic. That is another nominee. There you see it. Yeah, that's a great job there. That was definitely a sweet move. Of course, you can vote for your favorite of those 3 starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow on the ARCA Racing Twitter account. Go ahead and vote. Make your voice heard. See which one you like. We want to hear from some more, Mike.
And the only guy who was really in shouting distance of Sammy Smith tonight was Jesse Love. What did you need to reel him in?
Just a little bit here, a little bit there, maybe a little bit more lap traffic to go our way, but at the end of the night, we just need to be a little bit better, and we'll go back to the shop and keep on working, and I'll see what I could have done better too, but obviously something to build off of, but as a team, we want to be up front, and obviously we're up front, but we want to be dominant and be able to win this race next year, so thank you everybody, we'll get back stronger next time.
Nice run.
Thank you.
Jesse Love, 2nd tonight.
Tire crew, congratulations to our ARCA Menards Series 2022 Menards 250 winner, Sammy Smith. He does it again, back-to-back wins in the land of 10,000 lakes. He drives back into the winner's pool.
Suchi.